Okay. Well, the first is comfort. I remember when we designed the first facility, the collaborative facility, which we called, the first one was actually uh, implemented in the University of Virginia with Warfield. With Warfield, I started working with him in 1970. The first facility was established at the University of Virginia in 1981, 10 years later. Until that time, we were working not with a specially designed, the facility is like a laboratory. We call it a collaboratory, but it's actually a laboratory. So we had a appropriate, I remember we had the dimensions were 30-meter length and 10-meter width, 10 by 30. And we also had comfortable chairs. We made sure that the chairs were very comfortable. Chairs that will turn like that and chairs that will go back. We needed both the capacity for people to go back and reflect, the capacity to look around the room, because we had displays back at the time in the University of Virginia facility. Again, it was called Dimosopia. We had magnetic boards, white boards, magnetic. The whole room was full of magnetic boards. And the reason we had magnetic boards at the time, we prepared containers or a little out of iron, and we will put cards, I guess not 3 by 5, whatever it was, 8 by 5 by 12 or whatever, and we will insert in those containers, those frames, the ideas, and we will put them on the magnetic wall, and we had the capacity, the flexibility to move them around. That was very important. I remember and I have some pictures of that, and probably have some videos. We could move them much better than anywhere. Since that time we changed it, we don't have this flexibility. So we have comfort. We have tables that are, the U-shaped table, thank you, the U-shaped table, the comfortable chairs, the walls to put ideas and to preserve and to put representations, the capacity to display ideas on the wall or on a screen, the capacity also in the University of Virginia and the George Mason capability, the collaborative facility of those two universities. We also had the capacity to break the groups into smaller groups. We actually could move the tables around, and we also felt that we couldn't, the so-called breakout for us, we would not let them get out of that same room. We would like to preserve the people in the room. And also, in order to do that, we actually wanted them to be surrounded by the environment, which really represented the situational complexity. We didn't want them to go to another room. We wanted them to stay in that room and to work in that room and be surrounded and look around and see all the connections. And as what happens in a collab, we have the capacity to really expedite the deliberation, to make it faster, because people start talking about their ideas by numbers. They say, 13 and 55, and they point in this environment, and they don't have they don't have to read the statement. Very soon they actually have digitized what happens here in that space. We have actually generated ideas, and we have digitized the complexity. We have created a space in which the ideas are the equivalent of a point in a space. some kind of a conceptual space so that people say number 1, number 5, number 13. And this is an environment which is appropriate to deal with a situational complexity. And that's what the collaborative facility should enable people to be immersed and to do what we call the cybernetic embedding. The cybernetic embedding is really observing the observations of other observers in this collaboratory facility.